teens, low teens, and especially when you start getting outside, it does start getting really rough. So this one might be a little bit too new for this system, at least in the settings I have here. I didn't change any, I just hit play and went about my business. So probably lowering the settings a little bit might help, but for 1080p, you're starting to struggle a little bit here. Portal. Once again, I just left all the settings at default, and we are in 1080p. First thing I did was wake up. Hey, shut the fuck up, Ulfric. Decided to give up my caffeine addiction, and then start lifting weights. Finally grabbed the portal gun, and then proceeded to mess with physics for a while, all while getting pretty decent FPS. Alright, Portal 2. Portal 2? Apparently not. Okay, Counter-Strike should at least work, right? Right after it finishes doing the shaders, apparently. It never finished with the shaders. It stayed at 0%. Nothing worked. I left it for like 30 minutes. I'm a disappointment. I can redeem myself. Here's the first secret game. It's Splitgate. Let's see if it works. Okay, it's been almost 30 minutes, but here's the shaders. Let's see if it launches.
Eventually.
Okay. That was clearly too new. How about the age-old question? Can it run Crysis? Trying to change any of these settings is extremely difficult because the game is like frame skipping or something. So you can click something, but it doesn't register. So you have to spam the mouse button a few dozen times and then it finally registers, which is not a good sign, by the way. But we're through there. We're getting the settings lowered. I'm doing everything low as it'll go, giving this thing the best possible chance to try and run Crysis. Oh boy. Oh, this isn't good. Well, the audio is trying to play, I think, but the video, I believe, has completely given up. This is completely unedited, by the way. This is how I'm seeing it, so you get to experience it too. Took so long for it to load that it started to go into sleep mode. I had to stop it from doing that. Oh my god, this is actually unplayable. It can't even unfade from black for the cutscene. It can't even keep the audio up properly. There's like 30 seconds between audio clips. I can't. I can't with this. Oh my god, Crysis just does not work. Okay, last Steam game. I really hope this works. It's my favorite game. After taking, and I shit you not, 6.5 fucking hours to process the shaders, Master Chief Collection finally launched. This is how it originally booted. I don't understand what this resolution is, and I took way longer than I needed to try and fix it because it was trying to render things at 1080p even though the window was at like, I don't know, 240p. After the most cursed sign-in window, I finally found the settings and got it where it needed to be. After waiting for over 6 minutes for it to try and load Oni Sword Base on Halo Reach, the game promptly decided to crash. I don't know why I'm surprised. I should have expected this. Emulator time. Dolphin is, well, it's rough. It's really trying to play at full speed, but as you can tell by the audio, it's a pretty rough there, buddy. Yeah, me too, Peach. Well, I might be exaggerating here, but I think this is kind of poop. So let's try and do another emulator. Well, folks, I did what's called a lie, and I apologize, but the other emulators did not launch at all. So I guess that leaves us with, well, I don't know at this point. Just kind of playing some Half-Life footage in the background here. Just remembering when this thing actually used to play games. Those are the times. Well, I guess I can see how it plays a video. Well, loading up a web page is, well, it's not fast. This is real time. I'm right here with you. There we go. Almost done. Wow, you can see how long it's been since I've actually been working on this video. Alright, well, let's try this one.
Welcome to another episode of
Wow, I am annoying.
with Big Daddy Slit.
Let's do 480. Alright, that's working. Buffering enough. We skip. Yep, we can skip around. 480p. Alright, let's go crazy. Let's just see what it does. 4K. Full send. Full send. It's thinking. It's trying. It's still trying. It should probably give up. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna call it. Well, why did I go through this project? Was it because I wanted to? Was it because I wanted to fight with this ancient machine and try and get some kind of Linux distro on there? Was it because I like having to fight with several different Linux distros and several different ways of installing it just to see if I can get it to boot on ancient technology? No. Maybe it's some kind of deep-seated thing within our DNA where we just have to create something, where we have to try and make things work even when we know they shouldn't and probably can't. Maybe it's one of those age-old philosophical questions. Or maybe I was just bored because I didn't have anything to do for a couple weeks, so I decided to do this. I think it's probably that one. Anyway, if you made it this far into the video, why? Sorry for wasting your time. But if you'd like, you can like and subscribe. It's free. And if you don't want to, you can ligma and subscribble. The same thing, just with a different name. So, thanks.
You know, I have to say, getting to make YouTube videos about stupid computers and modifying game consoles, it's a pretty good life. I get to work for myself, ain't got no boss. Well, actually, that's not entirely true. I do have one boss, the iBoss. What is the iBoss? Well, it's a 1U rack mountable something. It's a zero trust device. I don't know, I've never met an iBoss I couldn't trust. It's got revolutionary cloud security platforms that provides that, yeah, I don't really care. Okay, so this does some fancy stuff far above my pay grade, but one feature that iBoss does not advertise is gaming. Hello, editor here. I was Googling iBoss Gaming to see what would come up to put an image there, and I stumbled across this website. Welcome to iBoss Available Games at ibossgames.weebly.com. iBoss Network Security. Games with no iBoss. You send this to all your homies that don't have an iBoss? Look at this guy. Imagine games with no iBoss. Hold on, games, Pokemon X and Pokemon Y, cool math games, classic, school games. Here is the website. I do not own any of these games. I found them and they work with iBoss. So this only continues to prove my point that the iBoss is absolutely a gaming machine, no doubt about it. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, huh, yeah, this says gaming to me. Let's look at these gaming ports. Okay, I recognize this one. This is the gaming PC power cable, so we're already one gaming in. PS2 connectors for low latency gaming, okay. USB to connect all your gaming peripherals. This is the gaming port. VGA, only real gamers know about VGA, that's all I'm saying. Dual Ethernet ports for minimum ping. You know how many packets I could send across these? You know how quick I could do it? You know how low latency you could do it? Dude. Gaming! Oh my god, there's a- oh wait, hold on. Oh, this is the management interface. Okay, that's not gaming. So let's count it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 gaming ports.
9 gaming ports!
It appears this thing's got the credentials for gaming. Without further ado, I think we should find out what makes this thing so gaming from the inside. Where do I begin? Oh, I should probably begin with the loose DIMM. What is this doing in here? 2 GB ECC PC3L. I'm sure this is probably the only non-gaming component in this entire thing, and that's why they took it out and set it aside. So the previous owner knew what they were doing. Just look at all these. Oh my god. Let's see, what do we got here? So assuming these are all the same, it's got an 8 GB PC3R DIMM. That's what, 8, 16, 32, 64. That is, whew, that might be the most dedotated yet. This might be the highest performing piece of crap computer we've looked at so far. Obviously, there's the 1X player and the Neo, which were very high power. High enough power to burn your finger on one of them. Okay, so this says do not remove screws from the mounting tabs. Lift here to install CPU. I have no idea what screws it's referring to. Maybe these? The mounting screws for the heatsink? I don't really know. We're gonna remove this anyway. Oh man, this is very securely mounted in there. Oh wow. That's a long screw. I wouldn't game with anything less. Here's the gaming turbine. So there's not really much under there. Gaming aside, I guess this is the CPU cooler, and this is the kind of shroud that directs the air. Pretty simple construction. I do see that we have an SSD in here. Okay, so here's the gaming drive. Looks like it is a 160 GB Intel SSD. DC S3500 series SSD. I'm sure that means something to somebody somewhere, but to me that means I can't hold as many games. Man, you know what? Whoever had this iBoss before me is really lucky that I'm not gonna go and poke around in here and get access to all their personal information. But I mean, even if I wanted to, it would. So this power supply is rated for a whole 260 watts. Wow. Gaming? It's not very gaming. Who am I kidding? There isn't even an 8-pin or a 6-pin on this thing. That's, I hate to say it, but that's not very gaming. Holy whack ton of SATA ports though. That's pretty gaming. Actually, what's this motherboard? The Supermicro X9 SRI-F. It's got an X in the model number. Yeah, that's gaming. And we've got an Intel Gigabit. I'm sorry. Anything under 10 gig. It doesn't. It kind of upsets my stomach. I'm really sorry about this. Oh, we're just gonna. Okay, we're gonna do that. Okay. Okay, I feel a lot better now. And keeping with tradition on this channel, I am not going to take this cooler off to find out what the CPU is. We're gonna save that guy for later. But I think we've seen everything that we can see here. There's really not much to it. And in the pursuit of not creating a horrendous tone in the back of the video, I'm gonna replace this with a quieter fan. All right, that will do. I can't put the lid back on, but that's fine. And we're gonna hook up a keyboard now. Actually, we're gonna use the dirty cherry keyboard. Why wouldn't we? Okay, I've hit a bit of a snag. So I'm hooking this whole thing up. I've got power, I've got the keyboard, I've got Ethernet. But I remembered that this thing is VGA only, and my capture card only has HDMI. So this is about to get really jank way faster than I intended. Because here's my solution to this problem. The GeForce GT 240 with HDMI, baby. That does mean that the network card has to come out, which is fine because I wasn't using it anyway because it's not very gaming. All right, out you go. This is a bit of a big boy, so it's not gonna fit with that right angle adapter. So out that goes. Past Bringus is helping out future Bringus because I lost the IO shield plate bracket thing for this, so don't gotta worry about hitting the chassis. Aw, spoke too soon. God damn it. Hold on. We have the technology. Oh, this does not help me at all. Never mind, we do not have the technology. We have the mining technology. So this is only gonna give us a PCIe 1X link, but that should be fine just to get video. Don't mind me just plugging in my graphics card SATA. Wow, this is despicable. All right, let's see what she do. Oh, she do that. Stop. Oh no. Ah, hell, I can't put it down now. Do one of those. And the GT 240 was always known for its balancing capabilities. Okay, so we got some beeps, but no video. I bet you it's not configured to use the graphics card in the BIOS. Okay, that's unfortunate. Well, here's what we'll do. I'll hook it up to Hey, stop. No. Do not interrupt me. Anyway, I'll hook this thing up to VGA just to sanity check to make sure it even works. But between the GT 240 and this abomination, that might just like not work at all. Or we just need to enable a BIOS option. I don't know. Ooh. Okay, so it does work. Just apparently only over VGA. At least for now. Oh, really? Well, boys and girls, we've been here before. Time to find the jumper. Step 1, see you later, GT240. Step 2, find the BIOS reset pin. So typically on these things, there will be a jumper like this guy right here, or a button or something that you can make contact with and it will reset the BIOS password. However, I also said that about the Sega Alls, and I had to use a Raspberry Pi to dump the BIOS. Then I had to use password cracking software to brute force the password to the BIOS. So this might not be the walk in the park that I'm hoping it is. But Super Micro's a bro. Might as well be called Super Mike Bro. That wasn't good. That was not good at all. I think we'll be in the clear. In the... Bro. That wasn't good. That was not good at all. I think we'll be in the clear. In the clear CMOS, that is. Okay, I'm shutting up now. Okay, so here's the manual for this thing. So according to this, we have a CMOS clear on the header JBT1. And according to this, JBT1 is that little dude right there. So it's right above the SATA ports. I believe it is this right here. Yeah, you can actually read it. Look at that, JBT1 CMOS clear. So if I contact these two metal bits together, it should clear the CMOS. So I'm going to employ my good friend Steel Flathead Bit. And now that I'm looking at this, it's actually kind of rusty. So let me file it down a bit. A bit. Okay, so the tip of the bit is freshly sanded down. We should get good contact. And I think all we gotta do is hold it in place while it's powering on. So it's plugged in right now, but it usually turns on by itself. And the fact that I'm holding this down, I think it means that this is working. Because it can't boot when I'm holding clear CMOS. So I think the second I let go of this, it'll boot up. Let's see.
Yeah!
Hey, look at that, it worked. Bringus knows a thing or two, crazy. Okay, we've got a setup default has been loaded. Press Del to run setup. All right, let's do it. Oh my God, we're getting so close to gaming. We're in. All right, 64 gigs of DDR3. So it's a Xeon E5 1650 V2 with 6 cores. That's pretty good. That's actually not bad at all. I will take it. Now I'm just looking for a way to enable the video card. VGA priority, off board. Okay, so we'll save this and then power it off and plug our GT240 back in. And then we'll be one step closer to gaming. The GT240 has been reinstalled. The VGA has been unplugged. Let's see what we got. Okay, so that still doesn't work. Did a little digging. Turns out I've got this guy lying around. So screw the GT240. And this is a GTX 745. That's a very normal graphics card that other people on this earth probably own. Ah, but we have problem. It don't fit. The graphics card don't fit. The graphics card won't fit. Don't fit. Don't fit. That's okay. There's an industry standard way to deal with this. Hey, what did I tell you guys? Look at that. And while dremeling the connector is a bit of a funny little madness Bringus thing to do. To be honest with you, any IT guy that's been in the industry long enough will probably tell you that they've done the same thing at some point in time. It's surprisingly not that weird of a thing to do. Ah, this kind of still does not fit. The fan is getting in the way of these other ones. That sucks. Okay, this is not going to be a good connection, but it'll be a connection. Oh, it's literally just these clips that are keeping it in. I'm really tempted to just Dremel off those clips right now. Okay, I don't really want to modify the motherboard. Oh man, that is a not very solid connection, but it's in. HDMI in, power in. Hey, would you look at that? Oh, that's beautiful. I guess the next step is to install the OS. Also, I'm really sorry, guys. I started 3D printing a Skeletor head, so you might be hearing my printer throughout the video. I've got this blanket and this sound panel here to kind of stop it. Future me who's editing this, can you add the Skeletor head here? So I haven't done Holo ISO SteamOS proper in a while. This setup is probably fine. The one thing I do worry about here is our AMD GPU. Our NVIDIA GPU, since Holo ISO definitely plays best with AMD graphics cards. But we'll see what happens, I suppose. Oh, convenient little USB port. Oh, never mind. It does not go in. Won't fit. I got the flash drive in the back. Gaming, 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 gaming. iBoss. We got our flash drive in boot priority 1. Do a little saving and resetting. Oh, shoot. We haven't installed a storage device. 480 gig Kingston. Go. Bruh, the keyboard is doing nothing. Wow, you can't even access this stupid USB port because the chassis is in the way. Okay, we've got our SSD. We've got our flash drive. Let's get ourselves a little SteamOS. Oh, well, that's not good. Boot x64.efi. Well, that didn't work. Okay, it appears that this system does not want to do EFI. Huh. I feel like there's maybe a secure boot type thing that might be on, but I can't find anything in the BIOS to change that. Alright, well, let's just try booting it from in here. Nope, that didn't do it either. Okay, no EFI for you. I'm gonna try and remake the Holo ISO USB under Legacy boot. I don't know if it's these flash drives or this stupid motherboard or Holo ISO or what, but I'm gonna try Chimera OS now. Would you look at that? Man, Holo ISO bad. I'm starting to think that Chimera OS might be my go-to SteamOS installer nowadays. It seems like it just works better. I don't know. Holo ISO's been giving me issues. Okay, choose a disk to install to. Kingston. Drive will be formatted. Perfect. I've never wanted anything more. Installation successfully completed. Let's do this. One more reboot and the SteamOS iBoss gaming server will be ready to go. I'm so close to gaming right now. Okay, hold on. I'm not an irrational gamer. I'm gonna make sure we're all updated first. They actually set the default user as gamer. I don't know what the password is though. Gamer. Oh, so the command failed. But gamer was the password. I guess I'm a stupid gamer because I don't think this is a Ubuntu-based system. So never mind. Of course APT would not work. Well, all right. Okay, they're making it real tough to be a responsible gamer here. I don't see any way to update what I'm doing here. All right, well, we're just gonna assume we got the best drivers installed. That's always the best way to go about this. Open up our old pal Steam. All right, Steam is all logged in. Time to go to game mode. Oh, game mode did not work. Can I please have game mode? Please? Oh my god, I'm shitting and pissing right now. Okay, fine. Oh, maybe it's because Steam wasn't updated. Alright, we're signed in. Game mode, one more try. Come on. Come on, game mode. Come on. No. No, game mode's not working. Okay, time for the game mode we have at home. Why do I have to sign into Steam every time? That doesn't quite seem right. Anyway, now for the SteamOS we have at home. Oh no, this is terrible. Oh my god. Man, this is buggy as hell. Ugh, something is not right. I'm gonna give this guy a reboot real quick. Game mode, go. What? Oh, fuck. Steam, go. Something is seriously not right. The fact that I have to just keep signing in over and over even though Remember Me is checked. That should not be the case. Okay, well, you know what? This is close enough. I'll take this. But you know what? If I was to game on this GTX 745, it wouldn't quite feel right. I added the GTX 745. So if I game with that card, I'm not really experiencing the iBoss the way it should be experienced, you know? I want to game on the integrated graphics of this thing. Which, if you know anything about Xeons and these kind of boards, are hot garbage. But I don't have a VGA capture card. But I have ordered one on Amazon. So I'm gonna come back to this tomorrow, and we're gonna game on the integrated graphics of the iBoss. And not only that, I've ordered an actual real riser cable, not that mining crap. And we're gonna hook up an even better GPU. We'll try the integrated graphics for sure, but I do wanna let this thing stretch its legs a little bit, and the GTX 645 is not gonna get us there. So get ready for day 2. Well, folks, I have some upsetting news. The integrated graphics on the iBoss will not work in Chimera OS. We're gonna have to step it up a notch. Here's the riser cable I got from Amazon this morning. This should do a hell of a lot better than this monstrosity. In goes this absolute champion. And there's actually one issue that we're still facing. So this 1080's got an 8-pin power connector. This power supply is 260 watts. It ain't got no stinking 8-pin gaming connector. YouTube, meet EVGA 450 BT. This guy ain't really that big either, but all it's got to do is power the graphics card. So you know what? It's big enough for me. So we'll plug in our video power, plug in our GPU. What a filthy setup. I'd say it's actually less jank than yesterday's setup. Let's see what she do. And now let me give you the impatient gamer version of what transpired after installing the GTX 1080 real quick. I booted back into Chimera OS, installed both Half-Life 2 and Portal, but Half-Life 2 never ran, and neither did Portal. You'd click the game, click play, and nada, zilch, nothing. No errors, just fuck you, I'm not running. So I didn't really know where to begin troubleshooting that, and since SteamOS as a way to run the Steam Deck UI is kind of a dead concept now, considering the regular Steam client can run the Deck UI from big picture, so I just started fresh with Ubuntu, got Steam installed, got Mango HUD installed, but then I saw after that Mango HUD wasn't reading the GPU sensors correctly, and even worse, Half-Life 2 was running at 20 FPS on the menu. This is with the 1080 installed, so I figured it was a driver issue, and I went to go download the latest NVIDIA driver, and that had told me that I had to disable something in the kernel to install correctly, so I did that, and then the system never booted again. So, in the interest of time, Windows time. Okay, here we are in Windows, after much issues with literally everything. So the 1080 is disconnected, and I would like you to have a look at this little dumbass right here. Matrox G200EW Nuvoton. But let me tell you, from the way that this thing is moving right now, oh yeah, that's what performance looks like right there, baby. So I'm gonna start us out on OG Half-Life rather than Half-Life 2. And depending on how this goes, then we can try Half-Life 2. And then maybe we can try Portal and even possibly CSGO. But I wouldn't get too excited about that one. Oh man. Oh no. Oh no, I'm just undulating back and forth. Yikes, dude. I don't know about this. Let's see, can we reduce the resolution? Alright, we're kicking it down to 640 by 480. No HD models. Low video quality. It's almost playable now. Let me get the overlay enabled. Oh my god, it's so big. Oh yeah, she rips. That's what I'm talking about, gamers. The FPS is so low that the audio can't even figure out what it's doing. Oh my god, I fell out of the tram!
Wave goodbye, dumbass!
What? Is this even possible? Well, obviously it's possible because I just did it. But like in normal gameplay, is this even a thing you can do? Can I walk around? What the heck? Dude, this graphics adapter is so mind-numbingly bad that I bugged out the game. The audio has stopped because I think I'm supposed to enter a loading zone way down there. Holy crap. This is impressive. My mind is blown. This is amazing. This is the power of an absolute piece of crap Matrox GPU. Wow. Oh wait, it actually hit the loading zone. What is happening? What? Oh hey, the FPS is okay now. I think it spawned me into the new map in the same like coordinates that I was before. So now I'm just in the void. Hold on. Okay, I have manually put us into the first area. Holy crap, dude. Oh my god. This is so rough. Is there anything else I can decrease? Honestly, software renderer probably will boost the performance. Yeah, let's try that. Because I think it's going to run on the CPU now. We lost our overlay. Hold on. Oh, you know, I don't think the overlay is going to run now since we're rendering on the CPU. But I can tell you right now, it's so much better. This feels like maybe like 40 FPS. I'm not really sure. But it's actually playable now. I've always liked how Half-Life looks with the software renderer. It just looks a little different. It's got like that PS1 style. You know what I mean? Where triangles kind of just shift around and it looks cool. Okay, well, I don't expect to get very far in literally any other game. But, for shits and giggles, let's move right on to Portal. Actually, this is kind of not bad. Hold on, we'll dump the settings. 640 by 480, set everything to low. Hey, this isn't bad at all. What the heck? Why was Half-Life so bad? Yeah, this is fine. Let's see, can I pull off the speedrun strat? Aha, there we go. Oh, nice. Okay, well this is surprisingly playable.
Bruh.
Oh my god, look at our VRAM. Wait, is that 4 terabytes of VRAM? That is exactly 4,096 gigabytes. That is, okay, so we have 4 terabytes of VRAM. That's why it runs so good, obviously. It's actually like locked 30. Like it won't go any higher or any lower. That's interesting. Actually, hold on. What if I turn VSync off? Yeah, it's still 30. Okay, well that's something. You know what? That showing is just good enough that I kind of want to try, this guy. Oof. Yeah, I guess I saw this one coming. Okay. I'm not gonna push the issue all that much further because it's kind of obvious that this was going to run poorly at best and not at all at worst. At this point, we're gonna shut this guy down and see how limited we actually are by this GPU. Because the CPU's got the beans. It's really not bad. It's got a CPU mark score of 9,327. In multi-core performance, this thing is a bit worse than the i3 10300. So like, that's not that bad. Let me look at single core. Okay, so single thread rating is 2042. Single thread performance is around the 3rd gen i7, 4th gen i3, 4th gen i5K CPU. That kind of general range. i5 3570K. Okay, so single thread is kind of a bit in the gutter, but it's still very workable. We can work with that. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down, reconnect the GPU, and we'll see how it does. All right, the 1080 is installed. Let's go ahead and revisit Portal real quick. Okay, so we're getting a much more respectable 300 FPS now. I'm glad my cooling solution for the CPU is working, but the usage on both of them is nothing. Obviously, Portal is not enough to really stress this guy. I'm just gonna jump right into Red Dead Redemption 2 then. Oh, maybe I'm not. Or maybe I am? Please solve this puzzle. Oh, hell no, they gave me the furry puzzle. Alright, we're getting a respectable 60 FPS here in RDR2. This is with just about everything set to Ultra as well. And we're actually GPU bottlenecked right now. This CPU's got more to give. Look at that, 50% on the CPU. That's crazy. These old Xeons still got the beans. Yeah, it's running at about 3.5 gigahertz. That is exactly El Not Bado, I will say. Yeah, this is great. I figured, why don't we finish off this thing with a little bit of Team Fortress 2. That way the orange box that we've got here will have played all the orange box games. I didn't play Half-Life 2 on here, but technically we did play Half-Life 2 back in Linux, but that was just at 20 FPS and nothing was working. I'm counting it. Oh, okay, that's probably a bot. TF2's running at a expected 300 FPS. I don't know what's going on, but people keep joining and then leaving, and I'm the only one consistently in the server. So I guess I'm just gonna cap. This is fantastic. I can't lose. Wow. Valve matchmaking works real good, doesn't it? I am on an official server right now. You guys better join quick. You better stop me. Look at that. Blue wins. Bringus Studios, MVP. I wouldn't have it any other way. Well, folks, that's all I have planned for the iBoss here. Thanks for coming with me on this journey once again, installing SteamOS and then deleting SteamOS and then installing another OS and then just installing Windows at the very end. Seems like that's kind of how things have been going lately. Subscribe for more. I've got all kinds of videos just like this on my channel if you've never been on here before. I've installed emulators on a Leapfrog. I've done pretty much exactly this, but on a Sega arcade machine. I got a laptop for $7.99 once and tried to game on it. That was pretty good. Long story short, check out the rest of the channel. Check out the Discord. There's tons of people on there that love doing stuff just like this, love hacking, modding, installing emulators, all the whole 9 yards. Patreon's in the description if you want to throw money at this beautiful face. And that's gonna be it, gamers. Bringus out. Hooah! If you were exposed to PC gaming in the mid-2000s,
You may be entitled to financial compensation.
you might have played a little game by the name of Counter-Strike Source. I take it that you probably know at least a little about CS Source since sort of do something with those regarding jumping by. When you think of the company Sega, there's generally a few different categories of stuff that comes to mind. They've got great home console games, just look at your Sonics, your Nights into Dreams, your Super Monkey Balls, your Jet Set Radios, all that good stuff. If not their games, you might know them best for their consoles like the Genesis and Dreamcast. And then there's the whole other side to Sega that most of us still know about, but maybe not as much. So Sega is a powerhouse of arcade machine manufacturing. They've made over 500 different games, and I can guarantee you that the closest arcade you can find, whether retro or modern, will be full of Sega machines. What ends up powering these machines is a wide range of different hardware. Sometimes they're bespoke boards that have no similarity to anything you'd find in a home console, and sometimes they're just bog standard GameCube motherboards, like in the Sega Triforce. Sega's never been known to shy away from just using off-the-shelf hardware like this in their arcade systems. After all, the Sega Naomi and Chihiro were nothing more than modified Dreamcasts and original Xboxes. I went down the Sega arcade machine rabbit hole a while ago because all of this bizarre hardware is so familiar yet extremely mysterious. There's just this whole world of gaming hardware out there that the general public is never even supposed to think about, let alone get their hands on this kind of stuff. Man, just talking about it, it's getting me hot and bothered. I gotta be careful. Triforce is about to make me act up. Wanna go to the zoo? Over the years, Sega has made all kinds of different platforms to power their arcade machines with. And eventually, while I was looking them all up, I came across the Sega Alls series of arcade hardware, and this is where it got really interesting. And I can't explain the Sega Alls without first explaining the game Star Horse 4. This is a game which, to my understanding, is a virtual horse racing betting sim. And let me make this crystal clear. It's not a horse racing sim.
Nope.
It's a horse racing betting sim. You don't get to race any horses. All you do is bet on them. And it is one of the single most bizarre pieces of Japanese media that I have ever seen. And don't take my word for it. Here, let me play you a quick ad for Star Horse 4 so you can see just how Sega themselves markets this thing.
先頭で駆け抜けるのはどの馬か。
Damn, I desperately want to fly Japanese first class now. And I guess there's also like some fantasy aspects to this game as well, based on some of these other videos that I've seen, like this one. Is very frustrating. I wonder if the game with a computer mouse might be powered by a computer. And a computer that powers a game might be similar to a gaming computer. And come to think of it, I know of a place where weird computers tend to end up after being decommissioned. And $418 later, straight from Japan, I now own a piece of Star Horse 4 history. This model that I've got here is one of the satellite machines, which is kind of the lower power version of the two, but also not really. I guess some have better CPUs but worse graphics, and some have better graphics but worse CPUs. This is the better CPU, worse graphics model. And while sadly I can't play Star Horse 4 at home, since these machines require authentication to start up, I can at least take this thing apart and see what's inside and then see if I can repurpose it as a sick gaming PC. Something that I am no stranger to if you've watched my channel before. So let's get into it. So here it is. This is my Sega Alls. Honestly, that branding is very frustrating. Almost as bad as the Toyota IST. It's not much of a looker, and I haven't taken off any plastic panels or anything. That's just how this thing comes. So we've got some kind of fan panel there. There might not even be a fan back there. I don't know, it's kind of hard to see. I haven't even opened this thing up yet. You guys know as much as I do at this point. But this is what I presume to be the faceplate. And I think there might be a fan behind there as well, but again, it's hard to tell. But obviously these things are meant to be shoved inside of arcade cabinets. No one's supposed to ever see this thing. And here's the I/O around the back. So fairly standard ATX power supply right there. We got a key chip port, which looks like a standard USB port to me. Hopefully that doesn't cause issues down the line. There's a serial port, HDMI port, a couple Ethernets, 4 USB 3.0s, standard audio, and then a whole lot of random serial stuff and a 3.5mm jack. And the most interesting thing to me, some kind of graphics card. So from the research that I've done, the very, very, itty bitty bit of research that I've done. This is more than likely an NVIDIA 10 series GPU. It could be up to like a 1070 because they made a bunch of different versions of the ALS system. This is just one spec of it. So it's gonna be a bit of a surprise. You might be able to tell with like the serial number, but I wasn't able to find a reliable way to figure it out. I'm pretty sure also the CPU is gonna be anywhere from like a 6th gen to a 9th gen i5 or an i7. Without further ado, let's go ahead and open it up. And like I said earlier, I haven't gotten into this thing at all yet. It's just been sitting in my apartment for like 2 weeks now, and it's just been staring me down with its stupid little Sega faceplate. Who the f is this? Thanks, but I did not win a free vacation from Marriott. I appreciate it though. Anyway, I don't even know what the plan is for this thing, really. My hope is that I can boot it up and it'll actually go into something, like the arcade game that it was made for. Star Horse 4 or whatever the heck it was. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws? 7 screws? I don't know, it's more than a regular computer. I'm gonna be coming at this thing with a $400 lens. Like, for what the specs are gonna be for this thing, was it worth the money? I'm thinking probably no. Oh man, I think it's about ready. Wait, no, are there 2 more screws? Oh my god, there's more screws. Maybe? Dude, I don't know. Not like there's an iFixit guide on this thing. It's like half coming up. This side doesn't want to budge. Okay, well there's a screw that doesn't look like it matters here, but I'll take it out anyway and hope. Oh, yep, that was it. Here's your first look at the Sega Amusement Linkage Live System. It sure is a crappy computer. Man, this reminds me of some of those bullshit brands like YyTy or whatever. This just looks like a very, very cheap custom PC where every single part was approximately $5. At least that's what this power supply is telling me. It's not even labeled. Okay, well let's just kind of start poking and prodding at this thing, I guess. So here's that weird USB port that says, what does it say? It says key chip on it. It's literally just a USB port. These 4 wires here are indicative of regular USB. So that's weird and interesting. Before I take this thing apart, on the off chance that I do screw something up in here, and now that I say it out loud, it's probably a little more than an off chance. So in the event that something gets screwed up here, I would be really upset if I wasn't able to boot into this and see what it's like, just as it is. Like, what does this boot into? I don't know. And I don't want to screw up the SSD or screw up something in here that makes it so we can't boot this up anymore. So we're gonna pause from disassembling it, and I'm gonna go ahead and turn this thing on. We'll see what happens, I guess. I have no idea what to expect. And to the dismay of select individuals from the comment section, the dirty cherry keyboard is back. And no, I still haven't cleaned it. Okay, power supply on. Oh, she's going. No power button required, I guess. Not getting any video. Let me try the onboard graphics. Nothing. Okay, well that's not good. At least I don't have to worry about breaking this thing. It's already broken. Oh, what the heck? Hold on. I just turned it off and on again and now it's fine. Oh, okay, so we got a Windows loading screen, and I don't have the Ethernet plugged in right now. I don't know what it's gonna possibly do to phone home, so. Ooh, ALS MX2, step 1. How interesting. I wonder what that says. Hold on, let me use my Google Translate app. It just says starting up. I'm not very confident that this thing is gonna be able to boot into anything. A system that's this new, I imagine, has to connect to the internet to work. Okay, so it's finally changed. We've got error 0001, first possible error. I feel so honored. Okay, let's see what this says. Key chip not found, press the service button to display how to deal with it. Where's the service button? Okay, well, I mean, even if I found the service button at this point, I don't think it would make much of a difference considering I don't have the key chip. So, I think that's as far as Star Horse 4 is gonna get. There may be some way to get around this. If anybody knows, let me know. Because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take out this SSD and I'm not gonna do anything to it. I'm gonna just leave it as it is. So maybe later on, and someone figures out a way to like crack it so we can actually play it. Maybe I can make a video about that. But for now, let's just continue with the teardown then, I guess. Oh man, where should I even start? So it does look like there is a fan on the front panel. This is the front side right here. Sorry, this thing is enormous. So it intakes through what I believe is a 120 millimeter fan. But I want to try and get this graphics card out. So let me get this brace off. You know, from the color of the motherboard down there, this is looking a lot like it might be a Gigabyte board in like 2nd through 4th gen Intel. Gigabyte had a lot of boards that were that kind of solder mask color. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. Intel technically also made their boards in that kind of solder mask as well, but I doubt they put an Intel desktop board in this thing. That would be very weird. Okay, so we'll unplug the SSD, undo this reusable zip tie thing.
Bringus Studios versus reusable cable tie. Fight!
Just get out of here, dude.
Bringus Studios wins.
Wow, that's kind of a pain. And then it looks like these serial ports that were around the back do just plug into the COM ports on the motherboard. So those literally are just regular old run-of-the-mill serial ports. I'm guessing that that goes to the interface on the arcade machine, the buttons and stuff that you actually press, but I have no idea. I'm not a Star Horse 4 arcade owner, so who knows? But anyway, let's get this graphics card out. I'm excited to see this thing. It really doesn't get any more bog standard PC than this. It's just a PC. The only thing special so far is the key chip port, which that's not even special, it's just a USB port. All right, here he comes. Oh, so this is a, unbranded wacky boy. What the heck is this? Look, it's got like shields on it and no stickers. What is this thing? This might just be some like Japanese card that's like really common in Japan, but I have never seen a cooler that looks like this. There's a manufacture date here of July 23rd, 2019. I don't remember exactly how that would date this thing, but I don't think I really need to do much research into that, because right along the side here, there's our smoking gun, 1060. That is disappointing. So that's sad, but you know, still wacky. I'm sure this is the only 1060 of this variant in the entire United States, and I own it. Pretty wacky, pretty wacky, pretty wacky. Okay, we'll put that to the side and keep disassembling the rest of this thing. You son of a bitch. Oh, there we go. All right, after removing that, this thing looks a hell of a lot more like a normal PC now. And I was correct in my prediction that this thing was a Gigabyte board. It is the MCH31AM. And from what I can Google here, I found one on the official Gigabyte website, but they're categorizing it as a different product. They're calling it the H310A, and the I/O is complete. Well, I/O is not completely different. It's exactly the same minus the DVI and the VGA port. So I'm guessing this is the closest like consumer cousin to this thing. Yeah, you can actually even see right here, this is where the DVI and the VGA would have gone. Okay, so it's a Micro ATX H310A type board. Unfortunately, we got scammed and didn't get the M.2 version. You can see the pins where it would be right here. But that's alright, you know what they say about SATA anyway. What do they say about SATA? Anyway, let's take a look at the most dedotated of Wham. Oh, it's InnoDisk. So assuming these are the same, it's 16 gig kit of two 8GB DDR4 sticks running at 2666. Not exactly Speed Racer DIMMs, but you know what? They will do. I probably just unearthed like 4 years worth of dust too, and I'm sure I'll have to reseat that. But other than that, I mean, that's kind of it. Oh, I guess we don't know what the CPU is yet. I'm gonna leave the cooler on there. We'll build the suspense up. We'll find out what the CPU is in the BIOS or something. I do want to know how big this power supply is though. This guy doesn't really want to come out, but through the magic of looking under it, I can tell you that it's a 500 watt power supply. Wait, who is it by? It's manufactured by FSP, model number FSP 500-50AAC. There you go, documented. It's nice to see that they didn't put the typical like Dell or HP spec 180 watt power supply in here. For even whatever CPU's in here, I don't think this thing probably needs a 500 watt power supply. It might come close, but probably over-spec'd, at least a little bit. And I know I said I wasn't gonna remove the SSD, but I did get curious as to what model and brand SSD this is, so want to find that out. It's a, what? It's a GS1 120 gigabyte, 6 gigabit SATA SSD by TDK. How very OEM. All right then. Also, the fan is San Ace 120 if you were curious. This cooler is your mom's. That's pretty much it for the parts. So we'll go ahead and put this thing back together. You know, with like a 3D printed like hard drive mounting rail area, you could probably turn this thing into kind of a decent little NAS or something. Like if you nixed this entire cover and you just found a way to mount like 6 or 8 hard drives in here. Can't forget to plug back in the ever important heat chip port, but not before I thread it back through the ever important other thing.
Round 2. Fight.
Look, I took it apart when it was flipped 180 degrees, so this is, my mind can't handle this. I'm doing my best. I'm not even gonna bother looping this SATA cable back through that thing.
Brinkus Studios wins for a second time.
Oh, that was spooky. Luckily, this whole thing uses like 2 sizes of screws, and one of them is entirely for the power supply and nothing else. All right, we are all put back together. I'm going to grace it with this 1 terabyte Samsung SSD. And because I think it'll be interesting to see the thermals on this thing, because it only has 1 fan, I'm also gonna put the lid back on. Now that we've got our mad JDM Sega computer back together, let's play some games. Actually, no. Can't get too ahead of myself again. We still don't know what CPU is in this thing, so let's find that out. You know, another weird quirk about this thing is that it doesn't have a power button. You hit the switch on the power supply and it just starts up. Oh, that is not good. That is really not good. Now I kind of regret putting this whole thing back together, because if we're lucky, there will be a jumper that we can pull and then replace, and it will get rid of the BIOS password. And if we're unlucky, then, well, this video is about to become very painfully a Brinkus Studios video. So, let me get back to the motherboard then. I'm not seeing anything right off the bat that just screams BIOS password jumper to me. Okay, this is a manual for a very similar motherboard to this one, and there should be a way to clear the BIOS password just by doing a normal CMOS clear, from what I can read. I also found it really funny that it says, use a metal object like a screwdriver to touch the 2 pins for a few seconds. Like, it doesn't tell you to use a jumper or anything, it just says, oh, you know, just touch it with a screwdriver, you know, that's fine. I mean, that's what I'm gonna do anyway, but you're not supposed to tell me to do that. So this is very unfortunate. I found it, but there are no pins in there, just pads. So the first thing I'm gonna try is to just pull the battery for a little bit and hope that does it. That's like the old school way. But I may need to like solder some wire there if I can't get something to like short it properly. I am gonna try to just press a screwdriver against the 2 pins, but that doesn't always work. Battery's out. I'm gonna give it like 10 minutes and hopefully the password is gone. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes. Let's see what happens. Okay, it just turned itself off. And back on again. Oh god. Okay, F2 to enter setup. Ah, damn it. Still need a password. I'm going to try the second option, which I did not want to have to do, and poke those solder pads. I suppose we don't really need to get into the BIOS? Need to get into the boot menu. Okay, maybe not. Alright, here's the plan. While we can't get into the BIOS, we don't necessarily need to, because this thing will have a BIOS order already set up. Obviously, it wants to boot a SATA drive, because that's what it does by default with this one. What I want to find out, though, is if before it wants to boot a SATA drive, if it wants to boot a flash drive, because then I can have the SSD connected, and then have my Windows installer, and it'll boot to the Windows installer, we can install Windows, there you go. And even if that's not the case, if I have to, I can preload the SSD with Windows. So we've got options no matter what. But this one's the easiest, so let's see if this works. Okay, so it does not seem to want to boot the flash drive. That's fine. Annoying, but fine. And the way that we're going to be pre-installing Windows on this SSD is not the way I thought I was going to be doing it because it didn't work. So the way we are going to be doing it is with this piece of shit. Only purpose that this computer serves is to read the Windows installer and then install Windows to the SSD, so then we can take the SSD and move it back to the Sega PC. There's undoubtedly a better way to do this, but you know how it be on this channel. All right, Windows, install. My original plan was to just install Windows in a VM and then mount the virtual hard drive and then clone it to this drive. But it was giving me issues mounting the virtual drive, so this works. All right, installation is finished. Time to see what this bad boy can do. Oh man, it still wants a password. That's not good. Okay, that's really weird. It should just boot this thing. Oh, I also realized that we're somehow getting video out despite the GPU power cable not being plugged in. That is weird. Okay, I do have one idea. This system either wants to boot up in legacy BIOS or EFI mode, and I don't know which one. And the PC that I used to install Windows onto this drive might have installed it in the opposite boot type. So I'm going to change that other computer to the other boot type that it's not currently set to, and then reinstall Windows, and then see if we'll be good to go. Okay, according to the HP shitbox, legacy boot is enabled and EFI boot is disabled, so we must have installed Windows under legacy boot. Now I'm going to switch this over and do it under UEFI. Okay, third time's the charm, or fourth time, or fifth, or what are we even on at this point? Hey, there we go, that did it. Okay, so this thing can only boot over EFI unless you can get into the BIOS and change it. I really do want to get into the BIOS of this thing, but for the scope of this video and with the current knowledge I have with hacking BIOSes, which is absolutely nothing, I don't think we're going to be able to do that. If you do know how to get into a BIOS like that, or you know how to like dump the BIOS chip and then get the password or something like that, that would be invaluable information to me, because I do want to do more stuff with this machine, but I feel like I'm going to be very limited with that BIOS issue. I've got a bunch of Arduinos and I've got a bunch of Raspberry Pis, and I know you can kind of sort of do something with those regarding dumping BIOS chips. So if you know something about figuring all that out, let me know in the comments. This is me from the future. The best way to chat about that's going to be on my Discord, so see the description for that. Thanks. In case you guys didn't see it in my 1x player video, I'm going to show you a cool trick. If you don't want to sign into Windows, just do this. no@thankyou.com. Put that as the username, and then add anything as the password for your Microsoft login, and then it errors out, and then you get to make a local account. That's what I'm talking about. No, accept. Nope. No. Oh, it installed Windows 10 Home? Why did it install Home? Time for the big reveal. What CPU is in the Sega gaming PC? It's an i5-8500. You know what?
I'm about to say it.
I'm okay with that. That's exactly not bad, because I was expecting like a 6th gen i5, like an i5-6500. But the fact that we're getting something that's 8th gen, that means that we've got 6 cores now, which is a good bit better than a 6th gen. So I'm happy with that. And it definitely looks like we don't have a GPU driver, so let's go ahead and get that. God, Microsoft, please stop. It's never enough for you. No, stop. Stay up to date by regularly bringing in your browsing data. What does that mean? Bringing it where? Oh no, this happened to me the other day on my main editing workstation. I was just using my computer one day, and then all of a sudden I open up Edge, and the only reason I used Edge at all is because I use YouTube Music to listen to music sometimes, and YouTube gets really weird when you have one YouTube account signed in on one window and then another YouTube account signed in on a different window, because I've got Bringus Studios signed in on one window and then I've got my personal account on another, and it was just not having it. It was freaking out. And so I was like, okay, well, I have Edge here, I might as well just use Edge. So I have Edge signed into my personal account and then Chrome signed into the Bringus Studios account. That way they don't fight with each other. But then one day I was opening Edge and I go to listen to some music, and the entire bookmarks bar on Edge was full of the bookmarks that I use in Google Chrome. And the browsing history on Edge was full of my browsing history on Google Chrome. And that shit was so terrifying that I booted into a live copy of Ubuntu, manually deleted all of the program files for Edge because you can't do it from Windows Explorer, it doesn't let you. And then I went back into Windows and denied the system from writing to that folder ever again. I don't like that. I do not like that at all. However, Edge is literally malware, so as you can see, it's still installed on my main PC, and I can't figure out how to get rid of it. So if you know how to permanently disable Edge, please let me know. I hate this shit. It's literally malware. Anyway, and you've probably been wondering for a little bit at this point, John, why are you using Windows? This isn't your thing. You use Steam OS. And let me show you guys why we're in Windows. The reason I would always install Steam Deck OS is because I wanted to use the Steam Deck interface on a PC. But for the last few months now, there's been an update to Steam Big Picture. Let me just show you guys here. It's literally exactly the same thing. You can even see it trying to tell me to press the Steam button. So the deck UI is entirely here in Windows now, so it just feels a little silly to try and, you know, still install to the Steam Deck OS at this point. I don't know. I mean, it's a lot of fun because I get to, like,